Thing that there's no such thing as bad PR. This is it, right here.
Yeah.
Whether he's Jewish or not, you accomplish your goal.
You know what a rabbi told me on the phone today? The guy's like, maybe he's Jewish, maybe he's not. The main thing is, you don't know how many thousands of people. The video has just on Instagram 80,000 shares.
Wow.
That means 80,000 people shared it with other people. He's like, you don't know how many thousands of people put on tefillin that since then, just because they saw Jake Paul. He's like, I know hundreds of people. He's like, I know people in my Toronto community. This is a rabbi in Toronto. He's like, I know people in my community that have never posted anything Jewish, for sure not anything religious in their life, and they're posting the Jake Paul video.
Yep.
None of your business, Oshi.
None of your business, Michael.
It's the None of Your Business podcast, hosted by Michael and Oshi.
You know what, Yossi?
You don't know how much Ubers are here.
Yossi.
Ubers are pretty cheap in Florida.
Not bad.
For your
Not bad.
The amount I'm taking a day.
Tishma, for your birthday, I'm giving you an $1,800 gift that for the next week, you're going to get the Zelle in the next hour and a half.
Perfect.
From then on, starting from tomorrow, the schus of putting on tefillin, whoever it's going to be that you're going to put on tefillin,
It's going to be your schus.
it's going to be an hour schus.
Wow.
On behalf of Klal Yisrael, I want to wish you a happy birthday. I know it's meant for you to give brachas, but I want to give you a bracha. Keep going, bro, and let's do this.
Let's go. Love it. Wow.
Yes,
Let's
amazing.
start a trend. Every week we get a different person.
Alice, I don't know. I might be setting the bar a little high, but I think it's doable. I think at the end of the day,
it's not crazy.
it's not crazy.
Do you see the kind of people that he's pursuing? $1,800 is spit in the bucket. $1,800
Getting
is
over
cheap.
1.8 million views a day.
Wow.
Just this week alone, probably did 15, 20 million views.
Wow.
I mean, in the last 3 days.
Yeah, but Yossi, you have to admit your range of, let's call it celebrities, has gone up exponentially in the last like 6 months.
Oh, for sure.
You've just been nailing down some of the most coveted people. I'm seeing some of these names and I'm like, how's this guy doing it? How are you even finding these people? How do you what's your approach? What's happening? Walk me through a day in your life.
Sunday
How does
morning-
this happen?
Sunday morning, I woke up at 4 a.m., went to the OHEL, landed in Miami.
Do you live in Queens? You live in?
No, I live here in Miami.
Oh, okay.
I was
So
in
you were
the
just
OL
there. You went to
I was
visit.
in New York for Shabbos.
This is a very normal thing, by the way, for them to fly
Just
to
go
the
to
OL for the
OHEL.
birthday.
Yeah.
Or just, it's a
For
normal
your
thing,
birthday.
right?
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. How often do you go to the OHEL? You go
I
very
try
often?
to go at least once a month.
Once a month?
At
Okay.
least, yeah.
It's amazing.
Very
You're
nice.
saying that, okay, that's
Listen, they're very connected.
they're
too.
flying to New York
Yeah.
once
If
a
anyone
month.
has jets, I would love to take it.
Michael, it's a two
Yeah,
and a
we're
half.
stepping it up a little bit.
It's a 2.5 hour flight. It's not like he's going cross country, but
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, yeah. So
When
you
I was in LA.
To celebrate a dead rabbi's birthday every month. Come on. That is a huge commitment.
100%.
And congratulations to you and everyone else who does this. I'm sorry, you're skipping over this.
yeah, but these guys live and breathe their rabbi. Like they're known for this.
I don't
like
know. A lot of them do, but to this level, once a month, getting on a plane and
Try
getting out
to.
there.
I can't say
You know what? At the end of the day, there are others doing it, and kudos to them. That was my point. It's not such a simple thing.
I hear. Okay.
Like my dad.
How was your
lives in
flight
New
here,
York.
Oshi?
I would say my dad goes at least once or twice a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like a serial traveler to the OHEL. Very cool.
Let's get back to Oshi's
Yeah, so
question.
you go there on Sunday. You're there at 4 a.m. Okay.
And within 12 hours, I got the most famous tefillin of all time,
Which is
Jake Paul.
Jake Paul.
Yeah.
So obviously, word is spreading and it's going viral.
No, but how'd you get to Jake Paul?
That's what we're asking
There's
you.
a
How
pretty
did you
good
get
story
to him?
behind it.
Go for it.
So I had some friends that were in the sports betting industry, and I reached out to them. Could you connect me with a guy named Joey Levy, which is Jake Paul's business partner? I want to do tefillin with him. He's another Jew. So a few friends make the intro. Eventually, finally, we meet. He invites me to his office. We do tefillin together and whatever. And we did tefillin a few times, etc. Shared it online. One day, I posted a video of one of his clients. He has a few clients that have podcasts under their brand, and I posted one of the clients. And some guy in either Tom's River or Teaneck, somewhere in New Jersey, a from guy, not Chabad at all, reaches out to me, says, I just saw your video. I'm an early investor in Better, which is their sports betting business. He's like, I'm a good friend of Joey. I'm an investor in his. And after seeing your video on LinkedIn, I called him up on the spot and said, I would love to gift you your own pair of tefillin, and I want you to put it on every day. He says, I'll fly down to Miami. I'm going to teach you how to do it, and let's do that. Joey says, deal. He flies down here. This is about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. He flies down and gives him the tefillin, and he teaches him how to do it. The guy starts putting on tefillin every single day. I met him like a month into him putting on tefillin. I met him again. He told me, he's like, I have never had such a good month in the history of I've been in this industry for, I don't know, let's say 10 to 15 years. He's like, I've never had such a good month in my life. He says, one day I forgot to put on tefillin. It was our worst day the whole entire month.
Look at that.
And he says, one day I forgot my tefillin at home. I drove back 40 minutes just so I don't miss tefillin.
Wow. And this is a fresh newbie. This is someone who never even...
Someone that just started putting...
And they're not religious, right? He
I
doesn't
was in
do
his
anything
office.
else? Just tefillin?
He was wearing tzitzis in the picture he sent me, so I'm assuming he also has tzitzis, yarmulke, and slowly doing more mitzvahs. But like, I was in the office today, and someone that I walked with in said like Am Yisrael Chai, and he didn't even know what that meant. The guy
Wow.
puts on tefillin every day, but doesn't even know what Am Yisrael Chai means. Like,
Wow.
he's just learning about his Judaism, and he's connecting, he's loving it.
Okay, so how did it get to Jake Paul? So this is his
So this is
business partner?
His business partner. I was at his office like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he mentioned that our company's hosting a Super Bowl party. Why don't you come by? I'm like, awesome. I know.
So you became friends with this guy
yeah,
now.
became good friends. With
Like
him.
now he's
Amazing
reaching out
person.
to you periodically and
Yeah,
you guys are
for
texting
sure.
with each other.
He put me in a group chat. Another one of his employees, like he just moved down here. His name's Max, another Jew. He's like, I want to find him a synagogue, and we found him a synagogue, etc. So he reached out to me, invited me to the Super Bowl party, and I went to it. It was a beautiful party. They actually have a bunch of Jews in the office, so we got to do a bunch of tefillin. I got there like an hour.
So you go
before
with
the
your
game.
tefillin everywhere. Wherever you
I
go,
try to.
And wherever you go, you want to find at least one person that you could put
100%.
tefillin on.
Sorry, what's the average strap time on and off?
60 seconds.
Yeah, he just puts it on. I've seen it.
Amazing.
Yeah,
With a
puts it
blessing
on.
also. It's not
Yeah, he makes them say the
on,
basic
blessing,
brachos.
off.
Bracha, Shema, Baruch Shem, and Am Yisrael Chai. Let's go.
And then they take
60 seconds.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
quick.
Love it.
Wow.
Okay,
I
so
want my
keep
goal
going.
to do it that fast is that next time someone asks them to do tefillin, they're like, I'm in a rush, but it takes 1 minute, so why not?
Oshi, your story matters. Let's talk is the slogan for our newest sponsor, the Serenity Center, which is a clinic for therapy and many other types of services that people need for mental health challenges. And I have to tell you that I did not want them to be a sponsor of ours until I tested them myself. And I sat down as a session paid by my insurance with the leader, Mordechai Weinberger, this person who has a radio show. He has live Zoom conferences with hundreds and thousands of people tuning in every single week. The reason why they do is because he is amazing. I sat with him for over an hour and I got the most out of it. And let me tell you, I did a lot of talking. He did a lot of listening. And I learned that the Serenity Center is a clinic that provides a service for therapy that's led and supervised by Mordechai Weinberger. And I see why they're so successful. And it's just something that, we need to mention more of. And I want the community of Rockland County and even beyond to know that if you need therapy, don't wait and push it off because it might be too expensive or you may not be aware of the perfect therapist. Go to Serenity Center, try them out. Insurance will most likely cover most, if not all, the charges, and you will get top-level service.
Sounds like a no-brainer to me.
There is a woman that is doing something ridiculous that she's trying to break a world record that I don't even want to discuss on this program. But I have a thought. I have a thought.
Something crazy?
Yeah.
I was just on Aiden's stream, and I was speaking to him about that exact topic, about that exact person. And me and a few people, we put together a group chat, and we're working on it. We're going to break the Guinness World Record of the most tefillin in one day. She did 1,000 of whatever. We're going to do 1,000 mitzvahs. 1,000.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Exactly
Two opposite sides of the coin, if I've ever seen it,
100%.
right? Coming from...
I'm part of this, right?
You're joining us. It's going to be.
Oh my God, this is what I was going to suggest for you to
Well,
do.
you're going to have 1,000 people in the
February
room
28th.
that never put tefillin on before.
No, they have done it.
Oh, that happened.
Haven't
All
put
going
on
to do
that
it
day.
simultaneously?
Not simultaneously, but we're going to, let's say it's going to take us 2, 3, 4 hours.
Yeah.
Over that time period, we're going to go do the most tefillin that's ever been done
Boom, boom, boom.
in one day.
Literally, just break records. It's
I'm
amazing.
so confused.
We're
I don't know what's
working
going
on
on.
getting
over here.
Guinness.
What do you mean? There's going to be 1,000 people in the room, and you're going to put tefillin on each of those people?
Yeah.
What's the record?
The record right now is like 260,
For
270.
for what? The record of what? How
Most-
many people are in
most
one room
tefillin
wearing
one-
tefillin?
The
Put it in
most
one
tefillin
day.
In one day.
In one day.
Most time someone put on tefillin in one
They
day.
have competitions. They all know. They all sit in Times Square in Chicago and they go around and say, hey, how many fillings did you do a day? How much did you do? Right?
100%.
Yeah. So they're on the chat and the most they did in a day is under 300. You're gonna break the record and I'm
triple
so proud and I'm so honored to be a part of this.
100%. I
Amazing.
hope you both are going to join us.
Not even a question.
Can I just share something before we start even getting into stuff in this podcast? I am one of the critics behind the scenes, okay? And I want to give you a fair chance to, to explain it because I really want to be convinced. But there are people that are like me that believe the same thing. When I see someone in New York City in Times Square someone from Chabad, and they pull random people over and they start putting tefillin on them, I'm actually not impressed. I'm actually not like, wow, that's an amazing thing. I look at it and I say, really? Like, is that necessary? Like, what is that really doing for this person that, yeah, they'll put it on for a quick second just to entertain you, not to be rude, they want to be polite. But then also, like, what does that really do for their Judaism? What does that really do for really spreading the message?
Story?
Yeah, please. But do you hear where I'm coming from?
100%.
I'm asking this, and by the way, Yossi, I want to take it even a step further with you. I love what you're doing from the entertainment standpoint. I'm actually following you like a hawk. I love it. I can't wait for the next person. But it's become somewhat of an entertainment value. It's become a very glamorous thing that I actually think this, in a way, is even more losing sight of the real purity behind what you're trying to do.
You think it's losing sight?
I think so. I think it's watering down a little bit of what it really means to put tefillin on, what goes on behind, what it means to be a good Jew, what it means to be a practicing Jew. Like, is it just about, all right, you put tefillin on for 5 minutes and now go about your life?
Just want to clarify, Yossi, I completely disagree.
I know you disagree
He knows
with me.
this.
I know.
But I want you to take a shot at it because
Yeah.
I'm already proud of your answer. Go.
So
He didn't even say anything yet.
He
What
said
is
he has
that?
a story.
Oh, okay.
Let me
Okay.
share a story.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
please.
So someone had a very similar question to you. He went over to a Chabad friend of his and said, why did the Rebbe make such a big deal about tefillin? Why that mitzvah in particular? Why didn't he do mitzvahs? Why didn't he do kosher? Which he did encourage people to do, but not as much as tefillin. Why did he do learning Torah, right? It's like, why is it so important to put on tefillin? So this was back in the 70s or 60s. I think it was in the 70s, right after the tefillin campaign started in 1967, shortly before the Six-Day War. This was in the 1970s. So what happens? The guy, a few months later, he travels to New York and goes to meet with the Rebbe. And at the end of his conversation, he brings up this question to the Rebbe. Why is it so important to do tefillin? The Rebbe says, there'll be a guy, and he's like, there'll be a guy, a Yid in Miami, sitting there, and he'll go over to you and say, I saw a picture of someone putting on tefillin at the Western Wall, and it really inspired me to want to get more into my Judaism and start putting on tefillin, maybe. Okay, beautiful. That's what the Rebbe answered him. Fast forward, I would say 7 or 8 years. This guy, he lives in London. He's an accountant in London. He gets called in by one of his clients, say, I want to meet you in Miami. He says, no problem. So the guy travels to Miami to go meet him. And in there are the two of them and a senior guy in the meeting. I would say a guy in his 70s or 80s. And they're sitting in the meeting. And it's at a restaurant, and they order food. The guy is just drinking water, maybe having some orange juice, etc., maybe a little fruit, but he's not really eating. So the guy asks him, why you aren't eating? He's like, I keep kosher. So he's like, oh, do you also put on tefillin? So he's like, yeah. He's like, I started seeing pictures of people at the Western Wall putting on tefillin, and it really gave me a thing. I want to start putting on tefillin. So he's like, okay, after the meeting, we'll go do tefillin. And after the meeting, the guy goes and he puts on tefillin with the Yid. He's like, this is my first time doing it since my bar mitzvah. The guy was probably 75, 80 years old. He's like, this is the first time I've ever put on tefillin since my bar mitzvah. And he said, just because I saw pictures of other people putting on tefillin. The Rebbe was very into not just putting on tefillin, but taking pictures and showing people. There was once a story that there was a big event, and I think it was in one of the Twin Cities in
Minnesota?
Minnesota, yeah. They're hosting a big event with like hundreds of teenagers, similar to what we're going to do, God willing, in 2 weeks. Hundreds of non-religious teenagers, and they were doing tefillin. And before they were doing it, the Rebbe's like, I hope you guys invited the press. I hope you guys are going to have this on the front page of the newsletter, the newspapers in the city, that hundreds of Jews, unprecedented, putting on tefillin. And the Rebbe was very into publicizing mitzvahs, and specifically tefillin, to publicize it to as many people as possible. Because one guy, he's like, this guy saw pictures of people in the Western Wall in Yerushalayim putting on tefillin, and this lawyer in Miami, this accountant in Miami decided, I want to go put on tefillin. How crazy. This was, the Rebbe told us this guy 7 years ago, that you'll meet a guy in Miami.
And it happened 7 years later.
And it happened 7 years later. How crazy. Or 8 years later. I don't remember the exact
You're saying the power of tefillin.
Yeah.
Meaning that's the...
I'll show you guys the video after.
But is this what there's certainly merit to publicizing something like this.
You know the halacha about karkafta?
No, I don't know what kakafta is.
In halacha, there's a lot of sources. The Rambam brings it down, and different people. Karkafta d'loy manach tefillin. There's a big question if that person is even able to go into Gan Eden. Do you know what karkafta is?
No.
Karkafta is a skull. So karkafta d'loy manach tefillin. A skull, a Jew that has never put on tefillin his entire life. There's a question if it even go into Gan Eden. So you finding, like I was at Art Basel. You know Art Basel?
Sure.
I was at Art Basel a few weeks ago. Actually, a great story. And I meet this guy, 88-year-old guy, trying to get him to put on tefillin, not interested whatsoever. Finally, he's like, I'm trying to get in. I don't have any tickets to get into Art Basel. He's like, if you could get me a ticket, I'll put on tefillin. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I have a ticket in my pocket, extra ticket. Someone invited me. So I just posted on my Instagram, anyone have tickets to Art Basel? Within 5 minutes, some lady responds, give me your email. My husband will email you 2 tickets. So they emailed me 2 tickets. 1 ticket was for me, and Hashem sent me another ticket for this old man. So I let him in. He says, okay, let's do tefillin. He's 88 years old, I think, or maybe 87. It was his first time ever putting on tefillin. How crazy.
What happens next? So he's 88. He puts tefillin on for the first time. Now what? Now everything is all right in the world because he put tefillin on one time in his 80 years. So now
you're neshama like a candle, right? Or like a match, right? You put on, and the tefillin is the match. You put on that one tefillin, and it sparks it. It opens up. You know, you ever heard the saying, mitzvah geras mitzvah?
Yeah, one mitzvah leads to another mitzvah.
One mitzvah leads to another.
Yeah.
If you just do that one tefillin, you think it's nothing, you never know what the effect of that one
Yes, I don't want you to misunderstand me. And Michael, you as well. I see the merit in this whole thing of what you're doing.
Problem?
I love it. I'm asking, do you think that it's become very commercialized?
What do you mean by that?
At this point? Because when I see someone in Times Square, okay, and just grabbing random people, they don't even know if they're Jewish or not. Like, they just start.
Well, we ask them.
Yeah, somebody they say, I don't know, I think so. All right, you're a candidate, you're good. Let's go. And it's just become in mass volume. It's become in a way that I think that it's lost that intimacy of what the intention was from the great rabbi, the Chabad rabbi. I think that's what he wanted. And I think that today it's become so vast, it's become so big, it's become a production. It's become like somewhat of a scene, and it's a shtick. It's like a gimmick. Like, how many people did you put tefillin? How many people did you put tefillin on? That somewhat, in a way, it's diminishing the real value.
How is it diminishing?
I would almost say it's better to put tefillin on one quality person where it's going to have meaning, you're really getting the right person, versus 100 people that is like, they put it on, they thought it was fun, and they
How
took
do you
a picture.
qualify?
I know you represent.
I don't know.
Sorry, I know you represent a lot of people because I've spoken to people like this. So even though whoever's listening might think they're in the minority, like, oh, no one thinks like this. I know there are people that think like this. There are also people that are against Lubavitch in general because they're just like, they're just like anti-Lubavitch, no matter what they do, like. So it's unfortunate also. I think the answer, what Yossi was saying a minute ago, is the answer. The answer is that the Rebbe said to publicize it, the opposite of what you're saying. It's not an intimate act. It's an act that you need to inspire others. That strapping on the tefillin, the words that come from the Torah, and Yossi, you'll tell me if you think I'm right about this, strapping on the tefillin connects you in a way that nothing else does in this world.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's really what it is. That's, I think, what the Rebbe was saying.
Give me one other mitzvah where you're physically putting something on you and you're just connecting to Hashem.
No, I think this is the best conduit in order to make that connection happen. I agree with that. But I'll tell you, we have a coworker, not a coworker. We have a colleague, let's call it, someone that we work with, okay? And they were Jewish, which we actually didn't know in the beginning. But
they were Jewish, but they're not anymore.
No, we discovered that they are Jewish, okay? We discovered they are Jewish, and we had no idea for a long time. And this person said, yeah, I was actually never bar mitzvah. I never really had any type of connection to Judaism, but my mother is Jewish. My grandmother was like, I'm a Jew, no question about it. And we said, we want to put tefillin on you. We think it would be a really nice thing. So I didn't do it myself. I didn't quickly whip out my tefillin and say,
who did you call?
We called a professional rabbi.
Chabad.
He happened to be a Chabad guy. We called him. But you know what he did? He came down to the office. We had a private room. He prepped him. He sat down with him for about 20 minutes explaining to him basic things about his heritage. He made it very meaningful. And we made it into a way that it really resonated with him. It wasn't on 34th Street at 9 o'clock at night when there's like lights and everything else going on in the background.
At night.
Like, this was done in a way that it meant something to him. And you know what? He actually now, today, wears a yarmulke. And he goes to Shabbos dinner Friday night now. He's starting to connect back to his roots. And I think it's a beautiful thing because it was done in a way that was professionally done, with a strategized way. Now it's become so vast, it's become so widespread, it's become all over the place that how much are you really retaining? How much of this putting tefillin on all these people are actually coming away from it with a good outcome, with a good result? That's what I'm questioning. Now, what you're doing, though, I have to say...
By the way, he answered you. He said one time.
No, I get what he's saying. I understand there's certainly merit to it. And how do you really know? At the end of the day, you got to keep trying. You got to keep throwing things at the board. Yeah, maybe 50% of it doesn't.
By the way, when I said minority earlier, I meant a very...
Being successful.
When I said minority earlier, I want to take it back. Extreme minority. I think most people can appreciate that doing it.
I appreciate it.
It's the opposite of what you're saying. Their intimacy belongs there and it's important. I'm just disagreeing again, and I'm saying that the volume.
Would you agree not to go into a bar and find people to put tefillin on in the bar?
Actually, I may not disagree with that. I know someone that used
Yes.
to do
What's
that.
the rule
He
with
met-
that?
he
Do
met
you have
someone-
people going into
You
bars?
know what?
to
Wherever
try to
you
find
can
people?
get, wherever
You
you can
do?
inspire. Yeah.
Really?
I'm with you on this. Yeah.
I'm actually very surprised now. I thought for sure you were going to say no. Of course not. That's where we drew the
No,
line.
and by the way,
you're saying
the
there
idea-
is no line, so you're looking in any which sort of place.
I'm not gonna go to the strip club, but I'll go into a bar. What's
Okay,
wrong with
so
a
like
bar?
that-
By the way,
the-
thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, so that is the line. Okay,
It's happy hour at the bar. This is
Yeah.
where a lot of them go. I've seen them there.
okay.
And I'm proud of them. And to me, it's like, wow, they're doing amazing because they're touching upon that person spiritually, physically, emotionally at the same time in 60 seconds. And then you never know. That guy in 10 years from now, it's going to come back to him. Yeah, it might not be as meaningful as it was, by the way, which was amazing. I remember that.
You remember
We
that
made a
story?
bar mitzvah.
It wasn't amazing.
We literally made a bar mitzvah.
Yeah, I'm very proud of
What,
it.
your
I'm sure-
coworker?
Yeah, yeah.
It was a vendor, actually. It was a
It
service.
was a vendor of ours. that we
Yeah.
do
And,
business with. Yeah.
and we, ultimately.
And it meant something to him to the point that it stuck with him so much that years
know, this
later,
is-
he's very thankful for.
You're saying if you met the guy on the street on 34th Street and
Right.
4 p.m. and da.
I guess I
you
would've
wouldn't
missed
been
out.
Inspired, you're saying.
Right.
You're saying just the fact that you prepped him for
I
20
think so.
minutes.
I think so. Yes, I think that it had a bigger impact because we did it
No,
in the right
obviously,
setting, in the right
sure.
environment.
If I had the opportunity every single time I was putting on tefillin with someone, I gave them a 20-minute prep. I talked to them about what tefillin is, what heritage, blah blah blah. Your grandparents did this for 10,000 years, for 3,000, whatever. And I gave them the whole prep. No, obviously I would,
Oh.
but not every time you have the opportunity to. The guy's walking into a baseball stadium and you catch him 2 minutes before. You tell them you do tefillin. It's gonna give you a nice chance that your team could win. Then you give them the different incentives.
Let me ask you this question.
I have a guy. You want to hear a good story? This story happened exactly 2 days ago. We celebrated 2 years. I just texted them. So this is two brothers, very successful entrepreneurs. They've built,
Oh, I saw that post. I saw that. You posted about it.
yeah.
They started a dating app. They started
a real
No, that's
follower.
different, bro.
That's a different brother story. Okay.
Oh,
Those are
wow.
not bros. They actually happen to be the two guys that started the dating app are actually investors in these guys.
Oh, I love
Oh,
it.
okay.
I love
Interesting,
it.
Funny enough.
Look what Tefillin does.
Actually, the guys that the two brothers that I'm going to talk about right now introduced me to the founders of Tinder.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Did you know that? That he put Tefillin on the two founders of Tinder?
No, I'm loving this though.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
back to what I
Did you
was
know the
saying.
owners of Tinder were Jewish that started Tinder? Did you know that?
Unfortunately.
Proud Jews.
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
proud
Very
Jews.
proud
Yeah,
Jews.
they figured it out.
Actually, tonight I have a chavrusa. Not even tonight. In 2 hours, I have a chavrusa with the founder of Tinder, one of the brothers. I mean, no, they're not brothers. They're friends. But we have a chavrusa. I don't know if we could keep this in, but whatever. Between me and you, know Rabbi Sheish Taub,
Yeah, of course.
I set up a Tanya chavrusa with
That's
the founder
awesome.
of Tinder. You know what
That's
Tinder
awesome.
is?
Of course. That's
No,
awesome.
I don't know what it is. I never heard of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I never heard of
The
it.
founder of Tinder and Rabbi
Wow.
Sheish Taub learn Tanya together for an hour every single week.
Unbelievable.
And
Can you
I try to
imagine?
join them whenever I
What a
can.
world we
Cool.
live in. It's unbelievable.
I was happy to be the shotgun. Yeah. So
Two
back to-
brothers.
Yes, two brothers. Super Raw Sunday. I'm walking on the street on Melrose Avenue in Melrose Place in Los Angeles. And I go over to him, are you Jewish? Yeah. You want to do tefillin? Nah, we're good. Da, da, da. I sat there probably for no joke, 15, 20 minutes trying to talk them into putting on tefillin. At the end, he said, okay, I'll do it at home. Could you give me a blessing for the Chiefs to win? I told him, I'll make a deal right now. You put on tefillin and you send me a picture before the game starts, and I guarantee your team will win.
Wow, that's a bold prediction.
I'm a Kayan.
Okay, I mean, you're not the only
He's
person.
doubling down on it.
That's
And I'm
crazy.
like, God.
God has other plans as well. It's not just about you and this one individual. That's asking for
I
a lot.
guaranteed him.
Okay.
I'm a bold guy.
I see that. So
So-
what happened?
At 1:35, 2 hours before the game started, he sent me a picture of him putting on tefillin. I gave him the bracha. Your team will win, guaranteed.
Yeah.
His team won.
We all know what happened.
Yeah, he hit the parlay. He made whatever it is.
What do you mean his team won?
The Super Bowl.
What, the Kansas City Chiefs?
Yeah.
Winning?
No,
2
no.
years ago.
Oh,
2
2
years
years
ago.
ago.
2
I was just about to say, like,
He said.
I don't know where you've been.
No,
but
something happened
They
2 days
recently
ago.
got trounced.
I
Not only did they not
I
win,
didn't double down on my bracha.
they got their rear ends handed to them.
All
Yeah.
right, they already had the hat trick, I think, right?
No, they were going for the hat.
Oh, they were going for it?
Yeah.
I started that.
They were going for the 3 people.
Thank
Wow.
Oh, he started it. Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks
So
to myself and Travis, whatever his name is.
So technically, Donald Trump has to also give all the credit to the Lubavitch Rebbe because
One
he
thing,
also.
you didn't let me finish this story.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it keeps going. I'm sorry.
Oh, for sure.
It gets
Okay.
better, by the way.
Okay.
It's a lot better.
Okay.
So I did tell him with the guys. Later, he's like, and then the next day, he's like, okay, my team won. Amazing. I want to invite you to my office. He invites me to his office. I didn't even realize who he was. He's an amazing guy. He's a great entrepreneur. He has a company he has the largest subscription box company in the world.
Wow.
Subscription
Very-
box company?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
That means, let's say you pay $300 a year and they send you a different box every quarter.
Like a surprise box?
Yeah, surprise box.
And inside is like different things.
Yes, he has 1 million members paying him
Wow.
$250, $300 a year.
Interesting.
Million members.
What's
yeah.
in these boxes typically? Like, is it food? Is it
Towels,
gifts?
cologne, this,
Random
makeup,
things, something
yeah.
cool, something
Mainly
different.
female focused, whatever.
Okay.
Really cool company.
Uh-huh.
So I started going to their office. We started chavrusa. We started learning together. We started putting on tefillin. One of the brothers now put on tefillin every single day. And I kept a really close connection with them. I probably speak to them at least once or twice a week, both brothers. They've indirectly helped me get to an enormous amount of people, including people like Bill Ackerman. They've helped me get there. Just a really amazing really amazing people. And yeah, just from that one encounter, I met them on the street. 2 years later, we still speak every single week.
Wow.
We put on tefillin anytime they're in town, every time they're here or I'm there. Either we'll go to their house, they'll invite friends over, and we'll have like a tefillin party at their place or different stuff like that. And Baruch Hashem.
Can you indulge me for a minute? Just try it on me. Hey, you put on tefillin today? Are you Jewish at work?
Hey, excuse me, sir, are you Jewish?
I am.
Your mom's Jewish?
Yeah, she is.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's amazing. Let's do tefillin.
Tefillin?
No, sorry. Usually, if you say your mom is Jewish, I'll usually slap a yarmulke on you and say, roll up your sleeve. Right or left?
You don't even ask them?
Whoa.
You physically assault them, and you go and you put a yarmulke on their head,
For example-
grab their arm, and start.
For
They don't
example,
recoil
yesterday-
from you?
Yesterday, I was at ECAP, and I went over to a guy. I'm like, excuse me, are you Jewish? Yeah. I'm like, awesome. Put a yarmulke on his head and start rapping.
What?
Yeah.
And people are okay with that? People don't like tackle you as soon as you start doing that?
I've had, no.
What happens when they want to say no? How do they say no to you?
Yeah, yeah. What are some of your defensive?
Yeah,
Like, what are some of
yeah.
your still
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
tactics?
whoa, whoa, whoa.
I was at someone's office today. Hey, what's up? How you doing? You're Jewish, right? Yeah. Let's do tefillin. I'm in a meeting. Let's do it next time. Deal. And
Do most people
he's like,
ask
my
you, like, what
coworker-
is
he's like,
tefillin?
my coworker will do it. And I went over to the coworker, did tefillin. This is a story that happened 2 hours ago.
Wow. You know what? You know what's amazing about what you're doing? You're starting a phenomenon within a phenomenon, right? Like people who help people put on tefillin all the time say, "Hey, are you Jewish? Hey, would you like?" You're stepping it up a notch. You're telling all the shluchim all over the world a new tactic. You're Jewish? Hey, just put on tefillin and just
Yeah.
get.
What's the word in the street with
Sometimes
the
I even
shuluchim?
skip out the question of like, do you want to put on tefillin? You just like,
If you're a
let's do it.
shaliach, you must listen to this. This is a new approach and a cold call and a cold approach.
That sounds very aggressive to me.
It's amazing.
Very
It's
aggressive.
perfect.
Yeah, but what is the world right now? The Bible
He's also
world?
saying, I'm sorry.
You
also-
must be making headlines within your community because you're getting some of the star power. You know, you're getting a lot of the high level people. What are they saying? Like, what's are they reaching out to you saying, "Hey, Yossi, wow, you're doing great stuff. What's your secret? Like, what's happening?"
Yeah, like so in 2 weeks I'll be speaking at the Chabad Teen Network, basically 3,000 teens from 455 cities, over 60 countries, coming to Brooklyn for a Shabbat. I'll be speaking for them, Bizrat Hashem. They have basically different classes of different people. So they have like 10 different speakers, and different people could book. So mine was like the first booked, fully booked. I'm still getting...
Everyone wants to attend your
Yeah.
class. Of course, because they see what the results that you're getting. And this is what I mean also, by the way. You see, it's not just now solely about the fact that he's putting on tefillin so many people. It's who he's getting. He's targeting very high-end people. And that's also a thrill, right? People are, there's got to be a little bit of this for you even, right? That this is fun. Like, this is pretty cool. You're getting to meet cool people at the same time, right? It's not all just about the mitzvah. And it's a beautiful thing. I don't want to take that away from you. But what you're doing is like a lot of people are like envious. You're meeting really cool people.
Thank God, yeah.
Who's like the most famous person you met so far that you now have a relationship with? Not somebody that you met and you did it to him for a few minutes and then you moved on, but who have you netted a really good relationship with by doing this?
I would say probably Aiden Ross is a good example, someone I did tefillin with today.
He's very popular, Aiden
Yeah.
Ross. I mean, he's got millions of
I would argue he might be the most influential Jew in my age range.
could be. I believe that. I mean, Donald Trump had right when he was campaigning.
For the record,
when he was running.
we didn't say it yet. Happy birthday. Today is your birthday. It's his Hebrew
Thank
birthday.
you.
I don't
Yes,
think
it
I
is.
mentioned
Happy birthday.
So when you say age range, how old is he?
He's 24, 23.
Okay,
That's it?
Right. You
Wow,
guys
it's
are
really
very
young.
young.
Yeah, very
My
young. I
goodness.
didn't realize that.
Making such an impact.
I
on the
thought
world at
Aiden
such a
Ross
young
was
age.
older. By the way, what is Aiden Ross really famous for? Was he like a gamer? Is that what he was?
So he started out gaming that. During COVID, he became friends with LeBron James' son, Bronny James, who plays for the Lakers. They became good friends. Started gaming together. One day, like LeBron came on a stream, so like that put him up a level. Then he started becoming friends with rappers and whatever. And now he's arguably the most or one of the top 3.
He's an influencer.
Most
He's-
influential influencers in the world.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. So he's Jewish, fully Jewish.
fully both.
And how did you
both
meet him? How did you get in touch with him?
So great story. Basically, I'm walking down the street. No, I was actually at a shawarma joint in LA, picking up a schnitzel sandwich before Shabbos, and I
A
see
schnitzel
bunch-
sandwich before Shabbos?
Yeah,
You're having a pre-meal before the
Yeah,
Shabbos?
one
meal?
in a challah.
yeah.
There you go.
Oh,
It's a thing.
okay.
I haven't had it.
Good
yet.
stuff,
I haven't
good
had it.
stuff.
Interesting.
Mafucha inside. Oh, so good.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Nothing like a good shawarma.
So I'm
Yeah.
waiting for my sandwich. So obviously, if you're at a shawarma joint in LA, there's a lot of Israelis there. So I go over to one of them. One of them, do you put on tefillin today? He's like, I'm not interested. I'm like, okay. Put a yarmulke on his head. And
Well, I mean,
I'm like,
he said I'm actually you just put yarmulke on his head anyway.
and,
Wait, wait, that might be a little bit of aggressive for me.
Yeah, you think?
Now is where my borderline. So what?
listen to the
Yeah.
story.
Yeah. This is
Doesn't
crazy.
end there.
This
what
is so
happened over
wild.
2 years ago. This
Where do
happened-
you get this moxie from?
I don't
Like, were you just born with it, or
We'll,
did
we'll
you-
get to that. We'll get to
I
that.
started
I
doing
promise you
tefillin
we'll
with
get to that.
people when I was 7 or 8 years old. So what is it? I'm now 21, so I'm 12 years in. It's not like I started yesterday.
Well,
I started going on Mitzvahs, which is going to Manhattan every week. Going on Mitzvahs when I was 7 or 8 years old. I started going consistently every Friday.
wow.
So-
So they train you young.
Yeah.
They get you
no,
started
most
early
guys
on.
only start when they're 14, 15, 16. I started many, many years before the average guy my age.
Wow.
My mom wanted me to keep busy on Fridays, and that's what happened.
I can't wait to get back to that, by the way. But continue the story.
But basically, I have some good pictures. I'll show you guys. The guy says I'm not interested. I said no problem. Let's do it. So he's like, okay. He sees my cap on my head. I was wearing a Happy Dad hat, which is another influencer, which I did tefillin with. He's like, oh, let me send a picture to the Nelk Boys. I'm like, oh, you know the Nelk Boys? He's like, yeah,
The Nuck Boys?
Nelk Boys.
Nelk Boys? Who are the Nelk Boys?
They're one of the. They also had Trump on their podcast.
They're popular. They're,
Yeah?
they're
Oh, okay.
very popular.
Very.
Yeah.
I don't know who they are.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like when Trump won the election, you saw that Dana White went up to speak.
Yep.
He thanked 4 people. He thanked Theo Vaughn, Joe Rogan, Aiden Ross, and the Nelk Boys.
Okay, cool.
So 2 of them are Goyim, and the other 2 I've done tefillin with 10 times. I've been with both of them today.
Wow. So you go back to them? You become like their personal.
I got a call from
Tefillin.
the Nelk Boys. Called me up today. He just introduced me. Have you ever heard of Steve Wynn?
Sure.
In the
He
win.
just introduced me to Steve Wynn's son or nephew or something. He wants to get involved in some projects. But he just texted me today. He's like, I'm getting you to film with Robert Kraft. I don't know if you guys know who that is.
Of course we know who's Robert Kraft.
He texted
Are you
me-
mocking us right now?
We just
I don't know what you guys know. I don't know. He
He's
just
ready.
said
By
that
the way, he's in his own world already. He's like in this hot, like he's living in a stratosphere that we're like, aspiring to like
No,
even
anyone-
meet one of these
anyone-
people.
anyone-
and you're just like rubbing shoulders right now with all the elite people.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is wild. This is crazy.
What you're doing is impressive in all facets. So we may not know the influencer world, but the second you start saying anyone in business,
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
you
we
know,
know.
we know people.
So basically,
So you're
he
touching upon so many
he's
different
like,
walks
yeah,
of life.
I know the
It's
Nelk
very
Boys,
cool.
whatever. So I'm like, do you know Aiden Ross? Because I'm like, he's in this industry, so maybe he knows Aiden Ross. He's like, yeah, I'm his manager.
Love it.
So I'm like,
Just like
yeah.
that?
Yeah. So I'm like, you have to get me to film with Aiden Ross. He's like, I don't know. Nah. His cousin, another Israeli, was sitting there. I also did film with him. He's like, don't worry, Yossi, I'll get it for you. Don't worry. A month later, I come back from Pesach. I just got back in LA that morning. I wake up. He got a text from this guy, Tav. He's like, give me a call. Give him a call. He's like, we're having on a rapper named BLP Kosher, Jewish rapper that puts on tefillin every day. We just bought him a new pair because we didn't think his pair was kosher. Whatever. He's like, we're having on this famous rapper on our live stream. We want you to come down, you and a rabbi, to fly down to Vegas. We'll pay for all the expenses. We want you to come do tefillah. We want you to come like make a Shabbat meal. So not just did he set up the tefillin, he arranged my flights, my hotels, cars to pick us up in the airport, everything. Not just did I not have to go to him. He arranged for me to come to him to go
Wow.
do the tefillin. So I flew down to Vegas, whatever, and did tefillin with Aiden. We ended up meeting a bunch more times. Thank God. We've developed a good connection together. He invited me over this morning to go do tefillin with him. And thank God we've made a tradition. A couple times a year we meet up, we do tefillin. And he had 40 or 50,000 people watching live as we wrap tefillin.
Wow.
Said Shema
So you have his cell number. You could like call him or text him at any
Yeah.
time you want. And he responds to you because you're one of the boys now because you guys share that tefillin bond with one another.
And
Is your hope that Aiden Ross actually starts pursuing something more in his... Are you still working on that? Or are you
listen to
content?
this. So, as I mentioned, BLP Kosher, the rapper that we met. So, I met BLP there at this stream, and me and BLP developed a connection. We exchanged contacts, Instagrams, numbers, him and his manager. And Baruch Hashem, Me and BLP have become really good friends. We speak a few times a week. I brought him to 770 many times. Even one time he was in New York, I was in LA. He calls me up and he's like, I'm going to 770. Like he didn't even wait for me to be there.
On his own.
He went on his own to 770. He goes, learns Torah there. He has a chavrasa every single week. He learns with someone. Not even a Chabad guy. He looked online. How could I learn Torah? Found some like chavrasa website, something. He learns Torah with someone every week. He wraps tefillin. He now sends me pictures of him putting on tefillin with other
people.
On other Jewish rappers. Yeah.
How many Jewish rappers are there? What do you mean Jewish rappers?
There's like 5.
Is there like a network of Jewish rappers?
Probably a handful.
Probably
Probably a
5 or
handful.
6.
Yeah.
There's Drake.
By the way, I think you got Yossi onto our side.
Yeah, but
I think it's working.
You know me.
Working.
You know me. I'm very easy to convince. I need to hear the rationale behind it. So
But how crazy that chance encounter with this manager that didn't want to put on tefillin, was not interested at all. We got him to put on tefillin. Not sure we get him. We got Aiden Ross. And through Aiden Ross, that influenced who knows how many people, that opened up so many doors. People are like, oh, Aiden Ross trusts this kid. Okay, I can trust this kid. I could do tefillin with him. Aiden Ross could do it. I could do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't know how many thousands of kids watched that tefillin. I got a text this morning. Someone said, I saw Jake Paul putting on tefillin. Now I want to start putting on tefillin every day. Like, I get these texts all the
You know,
time.
there's a lot of controversy around this Jake Paul situation.
Oh, we know.
Yes, because we're not so convinced that he's actually really Jewish.
I know.
Now, does
I was
that
with
bother
him
you?
today.
If you find out afterwards that he actually isn't Jewish, like it's confirmed, would you feel a little bit upset that you put tefillin on him?
So I'll tell you, I was with him today. I spoke to a few rabbis before. Some rabbis said, I don't know, maybe do it, maybe don't. So what did I do? I came there. I was with Aiden and Jake on stream today, and I had the opportunity. I could have asked him to put on tefillin. I didn't because I'm not 1,000% sure he's Jewish. We did it once. If he's Jewish,
Well,
he's
he
not
wasn't
a
offended that you didn't ask him to put tefillin on?
He wasn't so interested in doing it.
So he
I
doesn't
saw the
care.
vibe. He wasn't so interested, so we put a yarmulke on his head and Shemer Yisrael.
Right.
We gave him a hostage necklace, a yarmulke, and Shemer Yisrael.
Is there a halacha against putting tefillin on someone who's not Jewish? Like, you're not
So,
allowed to do
I'll
that?
tell you, there's nowhere in halacha or Shulchan Aruch or Rambam or anything that says a guy cannot put on tefillin. It's a special mitzvah for Yidden, but there's no halacha that goyim cannot.
Right.
The bigger problem is the bracha lavatala.
Oh.
That's the problem.
And you're following, you're prodding him to say those words.
Yeah.
So you're really walking him down that lane.
100%.
So that, okay, but, you know, I guess you can't always know. So
We don't know if he's Jewish or not.
So you take
If-
that risk?
If he's Jewish, then he was a kakafta. Now he's not a kakafta. If he's not Jewish,
What's this karkafta word?
He was
Never heard
saying
this.
it before.
I know,
I never
but
heard of it either, by the way.
You never heard it
No,
either?
I was introduced
you guys
to it
haven't
the
learned
first
enough Gemara yet.
So I guess somebody who never put tefillin on their life is labeled as a karkafta, and I guess
Yes.
that's a pretty bad.
The term in Shulchan Aruch and
Yes.
Gemara.
And it's an
brought down
elevated
many
level
times.
to not be a kakafta.
Yes,
Yeah.
very
So
big deal.
it's a big
So right
deal
now,
spiritually.
I'm working on kakafting Larry David.
Ooh, Larry David, by the way, huge fan of Larry David. And I saw a clip where you asked him if he would put tefillin on. He was like, no.
No, he didn't say
No.
that. He didn't
He's
say
like,
that.
why would I put tefillin on?
No, he said
something like that.
It would cost a lot of money to get me to put it on.
Something like that. Yeah. He basically
something like that.
He basically
He basically
validated.
said no, is what he said.
Yeah.
No,
he's like, not happening.
He did not say no. He did not say. He said, I can't think of the amount of money it would
That's
take me
it. Yeah.
to put on tefillin.
Right.
But I happened to.
Okay, so that was
I
actually a
just
very
at
hard
someone's
no.
house.
Sorry.
I was at the house of a publicly traded CEO, multi-billionaire. Happened to be he was in the crowd, and ever since then, I'm very good friends with his grandson, and ever since then, he's become like my biggest fan. Every single I'm at his house. He's like sitting there with the rabbi, and he's like, tell the rabbi how many followers you have. Tell him who you did the filling with. This, that.
How many followers
He's
do
like,
you have? How many followers do you have
Not
right
that
now?
many.
But you just started. I'm
Yeah,
saying you're
relatively.
going to start growing pretty quickly. You're going to be in a
After this
fast track
podcast,
to
yeah.
Thank you. Wow,
exactly.
That's so nice.
What's your main platform that you like? Instagram, Twitter,
I
YouTube?
love Twitter,
Yeah.
Instagram, and then LinkedIn a little bit, but those are my three. I do YouTube and TikTok a little bit, but not really. But the main platforms I'm active on every day is LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram.
By the way, not just active, you are
blowing
amazing
it up.
at it.
Yeah.
No, because
Really
you're
good.
putting attention to it.
You write your own stuff. Everything you
Yeah.
is there is you write it.
95%.
Actually, you remember that when I was in Miami a few weeks ago, I followed him for a few hours.
Yes, I
remember this?
remember.
'Cause I was fascinated by you. I was just like, I have to follow this guy. And just
Right.
what he does. It's amazing what he can do within 1 hour. He's 60 seconds on and off, but it's also 60 seconds to get on LinkedIn and make a post.
Yeah.
It's 60 seconds to go to Twitter and do a feed, and 60
even,
seconds to
yeah.
plan another event.
Yeah.
Super, super cool. When was the first time your adrenaline was like, oh my God, there's a guy, and if I get him, ... When did that happen to you? How old were you?
When was the first time you were starstruck?
Yeah, there
That
you go.
met
Exactly.
somebody, you were going to
Exactly.
fill on,
You're like, oh my God.
and you realized, oh
You
wow,
want
this
to
is a
hear
big
my
moment.
first celebrity to film
There you
story?
go.
Yes, let's do that.
This is the day I started social media. This was back in September of 2022, the end of 22, early 23. This is when I started doing tefillin with celebrities, and I started posting on social media. Basically, are you guys familiar with Rabbi Yitzi Horowitz?
No.
No, I don't think so.
The rabbi with ALS, the Chabad rabbi. You ever heard the song "Shine a Little Light,
Yes.
Show Us the
Yes.
Way"?
Now I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
So I only realized this a couple weeks ago when we passed the anniversary. One of my friends reminded me, but basically, Rabbi Yitzi is this very, very holy rabbi. He used to be a shliach in California, and one day the Eibishter gave him this condition where he is basically paralyzed, cannot move anything in his body besides for his eyes. And he lives right near yeshiva, and there's 10 yeshiva boys every year that will pray with him every single morning shacharis. So thank God I was in yeshiva in LA for 2 years. In the 2 years I was there, I was the only kid that did it for 2 years in a row. I developed a very close connection with Rabbi Yitzi, and we became very good friends. We still keep in touch till today, Baruch Hashem. And Rabbi Yitzi is one of the most inspiring people I know. Basically, he used to live near yeshiva, but for like a couple weeks during the summer, he was renovating his apartment. So he moved to a house a few blocks away. So I'm walking back from his house after Dami Shachastim, walking back to yeshiva, and I see they're filming a TV show. So my eyes light up. I'm like, TV show equals directors, actors, this, that. For sure there's a bunch of Jews. What's the question? So I'm like, okay, I'm going to start asking people. So I go back to yeshiva, whatever. I come back at lunch, and I start asking people, hey, excuse me, sir, are you Jewish? You're Jewish? Found a few Jews. Wasn't having too much luck with getting the tefillin on them. Finally, I'm like, okay, mincha's coming up soon. I'm going to walk back to yeshiva to go down mincha. As I'm walking back, I see in the alleyway, I see a dude. He had a Jew fro on. I ask him, excuse me, sir, are you Jewish? He says, yes. I'm like, do you put on tefillin today? No. Let's do it. He's like, okay, let's do it. So we put on the tefillin together. We took a picture together, as I do it, take a picture every single time. And as I'm walking away, he asked me, have you ever heard of Lil Dicky? So,
No, stop it.
So I'm like, yeah, I think I heard of it. To be honest, I don't think I've heard of it, but like I just said, yeah, I think I heard of it.
You don't want to be rude.
Yeah, I don't want to be rude. So he's like, that's me. I'm like, oh, cool. So I walked away, whatever. And then I Googled him like a half hour later. I realized he's like some whatever.
Little Dicky is one of the world's greatest Jewish rappers ever.
So happened to be, I did tefillin with him. I saw him like, okay, I'll open up I posted on my WhatsApp status. Other people posted on Twitter and Instagram, and it went viral. So I'll open up an Instagram, whatever. So I posted it, whatever.
That was the first time you came across somebody of high stature.
And that's when I opened up my...
And it was by accident. You didn't even know who he was.
No, I didn't.
That's pretty cool of him, by the way, that he did that. That he said, all right, let's put tefillin on.
Yeah, 100%. He's in the middle of filming his TV show. I literally...
Which show, Dave?
Yeah, Dave.
Yeah, Dave.
Here.
He's got like 3 seasons.
Yeah, so it was episode...
Great show, by the way. Great show. Yeah.
It was episode 1 of season 3.
Wow.
But what's it called? He was filming for 8, 9, 10 hours that day. He took let's say maybe a 30-minute lunch break, right? I caught him as he was picking up, there was a coffee station in the corner. I caught him as he was walking out of the coffee station, walking back into the alleyway to go back into the studio. Literally, if I would have came 1 minute later, I wouldn't have got him. And who knows if I ever would have got into this.
Unbelievable.
That literally sparked the spark.
Have you ever seen him since? Have you ever had any communication with him since?
Not really, no. He's actually good friends with one of my friends, and I hope...
I wonder if he knows this.
Does he know that he knows that you posted this and that a lot of people saw it?
I don't know if he knows.
You know what? We're gonna ask.
Can you send it to him somehow?
So yeah,
we're gonna ask. I just want you to know, Little Dicky, I'm a fan of yours since you started.
Yes,
I
we all
watched
are.
when you went to the mansions and to the boats, and you did that video. It didn't cost you money. And
The world song, that world, the Earth world song.
that's
You're
years
talking
later.
about
That's
Save
years
That
later.
Money.
Yeah, but
Save that
still,
money.
he's a genius.
Yeah,
I mean, his
yeah.
music
He's
is
awesome. Really nice
unbelievable.
guy.
He's really talented.
So, fast forward another 2 weeks later, I'm walking on Melrose. I meet a guy. Excuse me, sir, are you Jewish? He has one ear pod on. He's in the middle of a Zoom meeting. He's walking with a friend into lunch. I caught him right before he walked into the lunch. It was on a Sunday morning. He was walking into a brunch. I asked him, are you Jewish? Yeah. You want to do tefillin? Yeah, why not? We did tefillin, took a picture, and then I'm walking walking down the block. Someone's like, was that James Franco?
Oh,
You were
stop
just
it.
to?
What's
I'm
going
like,
on over here?
I think that was his name. And he's like, I'm like, is he famous? Like, who is he?
Is he famous?
And whatever. And that's how I did.
He's
tefillin with
19
James
at this
Franco.
point. He's
Oh,
just
my
getting-
goodness.
Yeah.
Literally, it's a whole different
And then
world.
a month or two later, I met Jeremy Piven. I don't know if you know who that is.
Stop asking me these questions. You're making me feel so bad every time you ask that. Yes. Oh my
we
goodness.
love Jeremy Piven. by the way.
Jeremy.
Love him.
Ari Gold, by the way. He's not
Me and
Jeremy
Ari
Piven.
still
He's
keep in
Ari
touch.
Gold. That's who he is.
Ari gave me his number, and we still keep in touch. But James Franco and Lil Dicky, the two people that started my career, I haven't gotten the chance yet to be in touch with them and get.
Well,
back
we're
in
thanking
contact.
them right here, by the way. But
We
if you
are.
could send them a thank you, what would you say? It's your birthday, guys. Pay attention.
Yeah.
It's his birthday.
I want to say thank you. I want to say I want to do tefillin with you guys again soon. B'ezrat Hashem. Let me know and let's do it again.
Look at it's amazing.
That's all he wants. Is just to put filling on
really
people.
amazing,
That's all
Yossi.
how many people have you wrapped in your career so far?
Thousands, thank God.
Thousands, like 10,000 or more. It's getting there. That range.
5-ish.
5,000 people.
5-6K.
And you're only what, 23, 20,
21.
21?
Yes.
Wow, you're just
Today
getting
I'm
started.
21.
Today he's
That's-
20.
Do you have a number in mind? Do you have a goal of how many people you want to wrap? And
I want to
you're
get 1,000 in a day.
We're gonna make it happen.
Michael, this is
excited.
unreal. So here's the real question. Here's the $1 million question. This question must be said out loud, and I have to hear this. And if you weren't thinking about it yet, it's time to start thinking about it, like right now. Okay, I look at you, and I'm looking at your story and how everything is unfolding, and how just things are just happening for you in your life. I look at you as a master brander. At the end of the day, that's what you are. You're really just really good at marketing, at branding, promoting. Like that's what you're just hobnobbing with a lot of people. You're very aggressive. You're a go-getter. It doesn't seem like you sleep at all. Like you're always on your phone and going to the next place and to the next place. I love that for you. That's amazing. So my question is, how are we monetizing on this? When are the big bucks going to start rolling in? And by the way, not because you want to become wealthy, because you're the kind of guy that you're going to further what you're doing with money. Money's going to propel your cause to bigger places so you can do things at mass production, right? So you're the kind of person that you need to start monetizing on this. This is not sustainable if you're not going to be making money. So what's the plan? Is there a plan? Are you already making money? Like what's that looking like for you coming up? What are we doing
Great
here?
question.
Yeah.
That is an amazing question. So there's no direct way that I'm monetizing at the moment. God willing, as time goes on, we'll find amazing ways to monetize. Hope to be able to connect good people with other good people and hopefully get into some good business deals. Hopefully find people, investors, etc., and maybe get some commission.
I don't even know if that's the route you need to take.
I don't know. You tell me. What's
You're
the
in,
route?
Michael. I think we need to get involved over here.
Yeah, I'm happy to step in.
He's a networker.
Let me know when you're ready.
He's a networker is what
Yeah,
he's good at.
yeah.
And, you're going to get streams of revenue coming from advertisers, sponsors, people that just want to be associated with you.
He had a good-
And your platform. You need to build a platform, become that influencer, which is you're already doing that. And you just started this less than a year ago in a big way, and you're blowing up. And I see big things for you. I think that you're really going to be, because you have a cause behind what you're doing. You're on a mission. You have a great personality. You're not like shy. You're not reserved. You're like full of energy, and you're an excitable person. I think you have the makeup to do really, really big things, and I think you're good at it. Michael, you with me?
I'm not only am I with you, I backed it up with an $1,800 promise and a gift because I believe in the cause.
Right.
And I think that could be the beginning of something great. But besides that, I just want to really tell you something really quickly. The idea of you connecting people and networking and making commissions off deals and so on should really be the secondary thing always, because people do get distracted sometimes when they meet people on high levels. Like, oh, let me connect you. If you stick to what you're good at and you just keep doing that, I promise you, just like you gave the promise that the Kansas City Chiefs will win, I promise you you'll be more successful and you'll know what to do with, because it'll lead to one thing, just like this evening's leading to this. And, you're so young and you're just getting started. And to me, it's like, who's next? What's next? And let's talk about it.
Keep doing what you're doing right now.
Keep doing what you're
if
doing.
You look at Uber
Don't
in the
deviate.
beginning, they weren't making money.
He's Jewish. I just discovered this last week. Travis Kalsinik is Jewish, and I'm working on getting tefillin with him.
Hold on. How do we do that?
And
I really want to know
how did you
live.
know that?
How
How
are you
did you
doing
know that
that?
he's
What's
Jewish?
happening?
Some random guy DM'd me on LinkedIn
Yeah.
with his Wikipedia, and I looked into it.
Okay, so you
And
confirm.
the guy's mother's Jewish.
So you
Nobody
confirmed
knew
this.
this.
You
I
confirmed this already. Okay.
Yes.
What's your next step?
Next step is reaching out to a mutual friend of ours and connecting us.
And getting it set up.
You know already a mutual friend?
Yeah.
Oh, you're already that far in the process.
So you're already on it. You're already on it.
We're
You're already
working
making
on it.
moves.
Throughout the Shem, by the next time we see each other, we've already finished that tefillin. Maybe Michael will join us.
I wish. I
But
can't
Michael,
wait.
what I'm saying is this is what he needs to continue doing.
Yeah.
Is gaining viewership and just building on this platform, and the money will follow afterwards. Like what Uber did. They first wanted users. They wanted to make their product so deliverable and so well received that people
Sure.
have to
For
use
years
it.
they're not making
They'll
money.
figure out later how to make money.
Yeah.
Right now, just get people addicted to what you're doing. And that is what's happening right now.
I will tell you, you're going to get sponsorships.
Yeah.
Because, people are going to be proud to be part of their.
My friend showed me a DM with an influencer. This influencer probably has 20, 30 million followers. He found the guy when he had like 20, 30, 40,000 followers. he was offering the guy like $50 to promote something. The guy's like, yes, how much you charge? He's like, I charge $20 to promote something. I'll give you $10. He's like, okay, deal. For $10, the guy's promoting. Now he probably makes, I wouldn't be surprised if the guy's making $5 or $10 million a month.
Wow.
The guy's probably making 50 million minimum.
Sponsorships,
Yeah.
specifically to what you're doing, because
Just
you're hitting
continue
such a
building.
niche.
Yes, legacy media today
Yeah.
isn't the same. Like people want to put
want
their word
genuine
out there with
stuff.
guys like this
Yeah. They
want
that have a
personality
real
behind it.
following. That people are tuned in to what he's doing on a daily basis, and they're checking in because they appreciate his content.
Yeah.
They understand, what you're about and the kind of following that you have. So that's what you got
Baruch
to keep
Hashem, it's
doing.
growing
Keep
day by
building
day.
that.
Yeah.
Keep building that.
Siyata Dishmaya.
It's
No, so
beautiful.
what Michael said also earlier at the beginning of the pod was a great idea. Get people to sponsor each week, find a different sponsor. People, God willing, will reach out from this podcast. You can find me
Yeah,
on
for now, in the beginning, as you're building up.
Just $1,800 a week, sponsor a week, and that will just pay for costs, let's say flights, Ubers, etc., buying people to fill in,
Yeah.
taking people.
Who's on the wish list? Who's coming up? Like, who are you targeting? Like, who's next?
There's a few holy grails. There's like Larry David, Sandy Koufax,
Jerry Seinfeld?
Jerry Seinfeld.
How do we get Jerry Seinfeld?
So Jerry, I've actually heard that whenever rabbis ask him to put on tefillin, he's very open to it.
So he's done it before.
Yeah, I haven't seen a picture yet, but Bizrat Hashem will get it.
But we got to get a picture of that.
Adam Sandler.
You know what they say? No picture, it's not real. We need a picture or it's fake.
Well,
Adam
he's in New York
Sandler.
City. They go to a school
Yeah.
together with other people that we know. So
No,
that's-
100%.
Who would we
yeah.
be shocked right now to learn is Jewish? Like, give us the name of someone that you've discovered is Jewish.
Travis was interesting. It's a good question.
It's like, who are you going after then?
It's also
Yeah.
so
Larry
interesting
Ellis.
to discover how many people in positions of power are actually Jewish.
Yeah.
It's
I
just-
recently
it's
heard-
Surprise,
unbelievable.
surprise.
Surprise,
Yeah,
surprise.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
I was at the ball after the inauguration of President Trump, and
You were at the inauguration?
yeah,
You were there you were invited?
my friend was invited. I was his plus one.
Wow.
Yeah, so basically, there
People
was,
are honored to be his
Yeah,
plus
that's,
one
that's
these
a
days.
pretty-
That's what
a
I'm
pretty-
finding.
That's a pretty big deal.
It's
so there
funny.
was a special ball that the president hosted after the official inauguration.
Yeah, we all saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, with everyone in the room was from Zuckerberg, Bezos,
Right.
etc. Mike Tyson, Conor McGregor, Logan and Jake Paul, etc. Right? So I'm sitting there talking to a friend of mine. My friend was sitting in VIP. I'm like, oh yeah, I have to go see him. So they let me into VIP. Whatever. We finessed our way in, and I'm sitting there talking to my friend. Like, is that Sergey Brin, the founder of Google, the 7th richest man in the world? There's no way that's him. Google on my phone.
You Google the owner of Google?
I Googled Sergey Brin.
Yeah.
Okay, picture.
That's him.
That's him. I walk over to him, and what do I discover? The guy's wearing a hostage necklace on his neck
Nice.
in front of thousands of people to go see. Founder of Google, one of the most powerful people in the world, proudly standing up for Israel and standing up for the hostages.
And you just walk over to
I
him.
just walked over to him.
There's no security around. Like, you could just get to anybody over there.
Zuckerberg was walking around with 10 bodyguards. Bezos, the same thing. This guy, that guy, everyone. This guy, he doesn't have social media. He's a low-key guy. Not a lot of people know who he is. I mean, obviously people know his companies, etc. But he's not like a public. He's not like an Elon Musk. You know what I'm saying? He's worth 157 billion. Like, he's not poor,
Yeah.
but he's not. But he's not like
Yeah,
crazy like
he's not
A-list
poor.
celebrity.
Right. He could afford a security, but it is just
Yeah, he
chooses
didn't
not
have-
to.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I go over to him. Hi, excuse me, Yossi Farah, nice to meet you. And I compliment him on his necklace. I'm like, it's beautiful. Can I trouble you for a picture? Yeah. And then I asked him, go for the killer shot.
Of course.
Have you ever put on tefillin? I'm like, would love to do tefillin with you. Have you ever heard of tefillin? Have you ever put on tefillin? Like, what's that? I'm like, you gotta Google it.
You got to Google it.
No, but I'm like, you never heard of tefillin? He's like, no. I'm like, what's your contact? Let's be in touch. He gave me his email.
How do you describe film to someone really quickly? Like, somebody asks you, what is it? What do you say to them?
I usually show them a picture of Bill Ackman, and I'm like, yeah, this is tefillin, Jewish prayer.
But what's behind it? No, people don't ask you, like, what does this mean? Why
Get
should...
that deep?
So nobody even gets into the story behind it? They're just like, yes or no, and that's
Bless
it?
your mind, heart, soul, God. Thank you, Hashem.
But why? Why does God want this? What does this represent? Nobody asks you any details?
Nah, not really.
You see, by the way, this goes back sort of a little bit.
I wonder if there's a way to
my
educate them.
point.
And by the way, it takes you 60 seconds. You are saying blessings. Maybe there's one line that you could put in there that
The
can
line
educate
I
them.
usually
Yeah.
put is, we put it right over here next to our heart, right over here next to our head, connect our mind and soul. Take 1 minute, pause, thank Hashem for all the blessings you have in life. Pray to Hashem for all the blessings you want in your life. That's usually what I
That's
tell them.
beautiful, by the way.
That's very nice, by the way.
That's beautiful.
That's
I'm a
a
fan.
quick pitch
I'm a
right
fan.
there.
I'm a
I
fan.
like that. I resonate with that. That's amazing. Like, you got everybody up in arms right now, like having
yeah.
debates about Jake Paul, if he's Jewish or not Jewish.
And let's admit it.
I was with his business partners like, I think Jake might be one of, or maybe the most famous Jew in the world if he's Jewish.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know the thing that there's no such thing as bad PR. This is it,
Yeah,
right here.
yeah.
Whether he's Jewish or not,
Yeah.
you
He
accomplish
also
your
doesn't-
goal.
No one's, you know what a rabbi told me on the phone today? The guy's like, maybe he's Jewish, maybe he's not. The main thing is, you don't know how many thousands of people. The video has just on Instagram 80,000 shares.
Wow.
That means 80,000 people shared it with other
Right.
people. He's like, you don't know how many thousands of people put on tefillin
Yeah.
that since then, just because they saw Jake Paul. He's like,
That's
I know
amazing.
hundreds of people. He's like, I know people in my Toronto community. This is a rabbi in Toronto. He's like, I know people in my community that have never posted anything Jewish, for sure not anything religious in their life, and they're posting the Jake Paul video.
Yep. Yeah.
Like,
That's
do you
true.
think Jake has ever posted anything Jewish in his entire life?
No.
There he is posting a
It
picture
stirs up
of him wearing
conversations.
a
It
hostage
gets people
necklace,
talking.
Him supporting Israel,
Yeah.
etc. Like,
Yeah.
even if he's a guy, I
had
don't
on-
think so, but
Yeah, I
whatever.
agree. We had on our podcast Naki Gordon from Meaningful Minute. You remember what he
Here.
told us?
Sure.
He's here, yeah.
He
Yeah.
joined me for some tefillin yesterday.
Yeah, he's awesome, Naki. He's great. You know what he told us? What he told us was that, when you see in the Super Bowl, like, these big events and there's millions and millions of eyeballs on it, and you always see those advertisements from Jesus, connect to your roots, and, Jesus loves everybody. And the church, they spend millions and millions of dollars, right, to give more exposure to their religion. He said, how nice would it be if we can also do something similar where we put a 30-second little clip and where millions of people are looking at it, and you put a picture of a woman, a Jewish woman who's covering her eyes, lighting candles, and on the bottom a little quick tagline like learn a little bit more about your heritage. Click on this link over
QR
here,
code.
and that's it. I feel like you're doing that in a big way. You're getting conversations started. People are talking about it. I mean, there's a lot of ruckus going on right now, whether it's Jewish or not Jewish. The fact is, there's a conversation being had. And there are people that are benefiting from this. So you're doing really good. You're doing a really nice thing that is helping just get people involved. And you might have those few people that are going to take it to the next level and save one person, save the world. Right? So
100%.
big fans of what you're doing. Michael, let's understand who he is a little bit, because
Yeah,
what
thank
you're
you.
doing is amazing. I gotta
I've
know
been
your
waiting for this
background.
opportunity. So
Where do
you're
you come
21
from?
years old. You've been strapping people since you're 7, apparently, is what you're saying.
7 or 8,
7.
2012. Let's see. In February 2012, I turned 8. Question if I start in January. I start
What was your environment? Don't worry. When they write about you, they'll get it right.
Yeah.
what
The
was
earliest picture I was able to find was April of 2012. So I was 8 years old at the time.
where were you living? What was your environment like? Your
So
family?
I grew up in the Crown Heights section of Brooklyn.
Okay.
I lived there till 15. 15, I went to Israel for yeshiva, 15 to 17. Then 17 to 19, I was in yeshiva in LA. Then last year, I was in yeshiva in New York. And then this year, I'm here in Miami. But yeah.
Mikey doesn't have a big past. He's only 21 years old.
Yeah, no,
He
that's a
doesn't
lot,
have,
though. That's a lot. That's a
yeah,
lot
I
for
mean, his
21,
story
though.
is pretty short. He's writing his book as we speak.
Yeah.
Literally up to chapter 2 in your book. You got a lot more.
Hold on.
chapters.
At what age did they take you to training in Manhattan?
So I used to learn with a guy one-on-one. I used to have like a tutor that I used to learn with every day or a couple times a week. And I don't know if he asked my mother asked him, could you take my son on to do tefillin on Friday, keep him busy? She said, for sure. We started going. He would make me give because I'm a kain, he would make me give a bracha to every single person we did tefillin with. I would go, we have videos of me doing like Vayadavar or whatever, every single time. So we did that till I was like maybe 13. Then at like 13, 14, I started doing it with my counselor. Then one day, me and my friend decided when I was like maybe, I think around 13 or 14, we decided we're starting our own route. So we started knocking on doors in Manhattan, finding Jews, and we're knocking on different businesses. One day we see a business with a mezuzah on it. Knock on the door, excuse me, sir, are you Jewish? No, I'm not. Like, you sure? I saw a mezuzah on the door. Not Jewish. You could tell from a mile away the guy was Jewish. I knew it.
Yeah, some
I'm
people
like,
can't hide as much as they try.
So you know what I decided? I decided I'm going to come back next week. Hopefully he doesn't remember me. And maybe he'll say, yes, I'm Jewish, and we'll do tefillin. I came back next week. Excuse me, sir, are you Jewish? He says, you were here last week. I'm like, oh, my bad. I'm all embarrassed. I'm like a 13 or 14-year-old kid at the time. I'm embarrassed. Like, the guy's like, please never come back here. I'm not Jewish. I'm like, okay. Fast forward like 2 or 3 months. Him and his girlfriend both say, like, get out of here. Fast forward like 2 or 3 months. I am walking down the street, and this is in the financial district in New York City, and I meet a guy. Excuse me, sir, are you Jewish? Yeah. You put on tefillin day? He's like, actually, I put on tefillin every single morning. Today I was in a rush to work, didn't have a chance to put on tefillin. I'm like, let's do it. He's like, I don't want to do it outside in front of all the guys. Let's go to somewhere inside. I'm like, there's a lounge around here. Let's go to this lounge. Start walking to the lounge. He's like, by the way, he's like, actually, my son has a store like down the block. Why don't we go to my son's store? So I'm like, okay, let's go. So we walk into the store. We start doing the tefillin, and it happened to be that store I was in a couple months earlier.
Get out of here.
and the guy's face turns red.
Stop
and
it.
starts changing colors, and he's all embarrassed. Like,
So this is his father.
This is his
and his
father.
father's putting tefillin on there in front of you.
and then after when we finished doing the tefillin, he's like, "Oh, why don't you go put on tefillin with my son?" I'm like, "That's your son?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, I met him a few months ago. He told me he's not Jewish."
You said that?
Yeah, of course.
Oh.
He threw him under the bus.
Yeah, exactly. You could have played it a little bit more
No,
discreet.
aggressive is his
Yeah,
route.
I see. You don't mess around.
Maybe you didn't pick up on it yet.
Yeah, okay, okay.
So I told him, I'm like, "Oh, your son told me he's not Jewish." What did he tell you? He's like, "Come back here next week." And every single week for the next 2 or 3 years, as long as I lived in New York, I would go and put on tefillin with him every single week. With
On his son?
He
with
came
his
back
son.
next week.
Wow.
His son has black
story-
and blue.
I can tell you, we came back the next week, and I've probably done tefillin with it 100 times since with the son. I was at his office 2 or 3 months ago. Last time I was in New York, and literally, the guy, we never talked about it again. We just did tefillin every single time. One day, I was in Israel for a few months. I came back. He's like, "I missed putting on tefillin." He's like, "Can we do a longer prayer today? Because I really missed putting on tefillin." This is his son telling me, the guy that told me he's not Jewish. And then one day, I'm at the Ohel. This is the son. I'm at the Ohel. So don't worry, a bunch of Bachrim took me over. And every single week, Bachrim go to him for the last, this was when I was 13. So 8 years already, 7 or 8 years now. Every single week, Bachrim go to this guy and put on tefillin with him.
Wow.
From that story. But
You think at some point he can do it on his own already? Like, why do they have to keep
Yeah.
going back and doing
I
it with
don't
him?
know. But the point is, we have to keep
Jeez.
him accountable. We don't
You're
know.
spending a lot of
I
valuable
think he likes
resources.
the attention, though. Maybe it's like part of the thing.
Yeah.
Like, hey, these guys are going to come to me and they're going to help me and they're
So
going to
there was
connect with me. Yeah.
So there's a guy that was doing business with this person. One day he goes over to the Bachrim. I'm at the aisle, and this guy tells me, "You do tefillin with this and this guy you used to do tefillin with him, right?" He's like, "Yeah, I have a story to tell you." He's like, we go to this guy. One day a Chassidish guy that does business with him comes over to us, tells us the guy's been dating a guy for like 4 or 5 years, and it's a disastrous case. He's dating a shiksa. The chances are they're probably going to get engaged soon. Could you, I wrote a letter to the Rebbe's Ohel. Could you please deliver this to Ohel and pray for him to find the Jewish girl and break up with this girl? The Bachrim said, "Yeah, no problem." They went to the aisle. Within a few weeks, the guy dropped the girlfriend, and now he's dating a Jewish girl. This story happened maybe 6 months ago.
I don't have to make it that story. I got to, Yossi, let me ask you this question. But be very
Not
honest
crazy,
with me.
no?
It's crazy.
No, by the way, just the beauty of that is that
don't know.
what we're doing is we're asking people, right? Is your mother Jewish? And
That's not what he asked.
no, in general, we're asking that. And when you're asking them if they're Jewish, right?
Yeah.
So it all starts somewhere. So
Oh,
of
so
course,
that's
it's so
there's
important
lots of-
in the beginning of that relationship.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Stop it from happening. You
wanna ask
want
you
to
a
pass
question.
that on. Go ahead.
Try to be
Crazy.
honest.
Just double click on that. Like, the father puts on tefillin every single day. Imagine if it was a regular Friday, he told me, "Yeah, no problem, I did tefillin already today," and he would have walked away. The chances are that he puts on tefillin every single day.
That day he
one
didn't.
Day he didn't. Then
Yeah,
they-
now that's-
he said, and,
that story's
every
crazy.
person we put
Yeah.
on tefillin.
Yeah,
right
no,
over
that
there.
was
we
by
never
the way,
walked.
double
Double click. You caught that?
I love that.
I love that double
I never
click.
heard that before.
When you want to like
I've
focus
never-
in on
yeah.
something, let's just
And-
double click on that for a second. I love that.
And I've never
That's great.
met a guy and he said, "Nah, I don't want to do it over here. Let's walk 2 blocks." It's never happened. I walked 2 blocks with someone to go put on tefillin with somewhere else. Like,
Yeah.
the chance of that story happens 1 in a million. Like, it's
I want to
crazy.
ask something, Yossi. You have to answer this honestly, okay?
Go ahead.
If I give you 2 options right now, you get to put tefillin on for Larry David, the guy who said, "I don't care how much money you offer me, I'm not putting tefillin on." That guy, putting tefillin on him, or option 2 is I'm going to bring you 100 people that never put tefillin on before,
In their life.
and in their life, and you're putting tefillin on either for these 100 people or for Larry David. Which one do you do,
So I'll give you the
and why?
It's a hard question. I don't know what the answer is. I would have to ask a mashpia.
Right now, the top of your head. We'll dissect this later, but the top of your head, what do you think you're going to do?
100 Kaftas or Larry David?
There you go. Exactly. I'll tell you what you're going to do. I
Whoa,
already
whoa,
know.
whoa, whoa.
I already know. No.
Answer.
He's pretending like he doesn't know what he's going to do.
Larry David. I
He's
know,
gonna
but
do Larry David.
let's see how he squirms out of it, though. I'd like to hear the answer.
Okay.
So I would have to ask a mashpia, but
Of course.
It's a great answer, by the way. Also,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We wouldn't suspect anything
back
less.
in the 80s, the Rebbe used to answer everyone's questions, right? Finally, the Rebbe said, "I've gotten so many requests for questions. Please, everyone, appoint yourself a mashpia, a spiritual leader, and please start asking them questions." Obviously, the more important question could come to me, but the Rebbe very much encouraged every single Jew to have a mashpia, to have a spiritual leader.
Okay.
He said, if you have questions in business, go to someone that's more experienced in business. You have questions in this, etc. Every Jew should have a mashpia.
All right, but if we don't have that much available right now, he's busy. What is Yossi Farrow doing? On instinct, what are you doing?
It's a hard one.
That's not hard. I'm going to say it for you. We got to do Larry David. Because I think Larry David will make a much bigger impression
And I think it
than
would
those
inspire
100
more
random
audience.
people.
Exactly. You'll get
Which
1,000 new people.
You'll get 1,000
Yeah,
people from
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So what I would like to leave you off with, what I want to, my closing sentiment for you is, you gotta keep having fun with what you're doing.
100%.
I think it's very important that you get caught up in the glamour and the glitz of what you're doing, because there's a lot of good coming from it, and it can't always just be cut and dry that I'm doing a good thing, because then you lose the flavor a little bit. You don't.
A lot.
Got to be passion.
Gotta
And
be
don't let
passion.
anybody ever tell you otherwise. And if anybody ever
100%.
critiques you and say, "Hey, what you're doing is not all real. It's not all altruistic," that's okay. That's actually fine. You got to package it with a little bit of fun as well.
100%.
And my advice to you is to keep doing what you're doing. Don't stop. Double and triple and tenfold down on what you're doing today. And it's amazing. People are taking notice. You're making moves and people are watching you. And you're making us all look good. So we're big fans and we want to thank you. I think you're doing amazing.
Amazing.
Michael, some closing thoughts?
Shalom.
By the way, I'm impressed with both of us that we got him to the other side. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
I'm actually.
I feel like we converted you.
Isn't that what usually happens?
Yes.
In the beginning,
Yes,
I'm like
yes.
one way, and then
Yossi,
towards
I
the
love
end,
you.
I'm like,
Come again.
I can
I
go
love
with
it. It was great.
Yeah.
Congratulations
do
to
a
that.
part 2 in 2
I'm gonna
years.
in what?
In 2 years, a part 2.
Yes, yes,
I don't even
yes.
know about 2 years, like 6 months.
Live at the 1,000th Tefillin.
Yossi, you know what you're doing, by the way, is essentially a little bit. We're doing a little bit of a version of what you're doing, which is at the end of every one of our podcasts, we ask our guests, "Can you select a guest that would be good for our podcast?" And we ask them to contact them right now
On the
ask them if they'd be
spot,
On the
yeah.
spot. You do the same thing with Tefillin, bro. You understand. You
Yeah, I
you
got
get
one
it.
for you.
Who do you got?
Rabbi Sheistaub.
Love Rabbi Shesty.
He's
It's
the
just
most followed rabbi on the internet.
Is he really?
yeah.
We
We
love
don't.
the sound of that. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
it's
fine.
not.
Is
it's
he a
not so
good
great.
guest?
He's a great guest. What about Aiden Ross?
Ah.
He doesn't do a lot of podcasts.
I know that. I know.
He does
I know.
some podcasts.
Listen, here's the deal.
The
Here's the
big
deal.
ones.
By the by, Rabbi
Does maybe
Shes,
3 a year.
Yeah.
Yossi, Rabbi Shes Taub, you can pull out of a hat anytime you want. You just left Jake Paul. You just left Aiden Ross. We're trying to grow something here. We're trying to, be a part of a growth, right? And it's very difficult to
We
do it.
try
on our
getting
own.
Michael Rappaport.
I would
Ooh,
love Michael
Michael
Rappaport.
Should we call him right now?
Yes.
Let's do it.